Welcome, folks. Today we will learn how cannabis works, the science of cannabis. So we'll talk about molecules called endocannabinoids and their receptors. We'll talk about THC and CBD. Let's start with probably the most well-known component of cannabis, THC. So this molecule is shown to you on the top right of my page here, folks. I'm glad that my face isn't covering any of it up. So this is the molecular structure of cannabis. The molecular structure of THC. This molecule is quite fatty, so all of these parts of the structure, folks, as we learned way back when, we would call it non-polar. And so that non-polar property kind of makes it fatty. So that's what we can learn about the structure here. THC is the psychoactive component of cannabis, so it's what is going to give you kind of the high that people discuss about cannabis. And THC is really one of the psychoactive components. THC, when you eat it, for example, goes to your bloodstream, it is metabolized in the liver, and the liver performs chemistry on it. And this changes THC to some things that are either easily excreted by the body, or some of the things are also psychoactive in your body. Other related chemicals to THC are called cannabinoids. So any molecule of a similar structure to THC would be called a cannabinoid. But before we move too far into the science, folks, I want to talk a little bit about the metabolism of these drugs, since drug metabolism can be an important part for how drugs work. So, quick break in cannabis to talk about our liver. So, many of the drugs that we take in our day-to-day life, we consume through eating them, right? You've probably swallowed a pill before in your life. And so, what happens when you eat the drug? So, in step one, you eat the drug, and it goes into your stomach. In your stomach and gut, this gets digested. And when we start digesting the things that we eat, it goes from your stomach in to your bloodstream, and from the stomach, that blood goes directly to the liver. Historically, folks, this makes sense because when we ate something, we'd want to go right to the liver to get processed just in case what we ate was poisonous. So straight from the gut to the liver, and in the liver, there is a lot of chemistry happening. So we'll take the molecules that we eat, for example, THC, and we'll do some chemistry on those molecules to change them. Oftentimes, those changes were to help our body kind of get rid of what we're eating, just in case it was poisonous. And then from the liver, it is basically sent throughout the bloodstream. So then it goes throughout your body, to the lungs, to the heart, to be pumped out to the rest of your body, right? Let's take a little bit of a deeper look. What is happening in the liver? So much metabolism, so much chemistry. And as I already mentioned, historically this was super important because sometimes, like in hunter-gatherer times, you'd eat a berry and oops, it was poisonous, right? So what would happen is if you ate that, it'd go right to the liver, and your liver could do chemistry on it to neutralize the poison, to get rid of the poison. Now we're not usually off in the woods eating berries, But this function is still important because molecules, for example, like THC, if you eat it, it can go to your liver, get metabolized, be sent throughout the body, and so some of the stuff that you eat, THC for example, is psychoactive, but also after the liver works on it, some of it maybe is neutralized, but some of it remains psychoactive depending on the chemistry that is done. The first type of metabolism that's happening in the liver is called phase 1. And the point of this type of metabolism is to eliminate whatever you ate. So some drugs, like THC for example, are very fatty. So they're not easily excreted out in your urine, for example. So a lot of what's happening in this first type of metabolism is, okay, let's get this chemical ready to be released in your pee. We need to make it water soluble so we can get it out in the urine. The proteins that do this type of chemistry are called cytochrome P450s. After the liver performs that type of metabolism on it, it is time for phase 2. And the point of phase 2 is to deactivate, right? If you ate something poisonous, quick, let's neutralize it so it's not poisonous anymore. And so the whole point of this is to make the chemical less harmful. A couple of different enzymes are responsible for this. So this is what's happening in your liver when you eat anything, or in particular, eat drugs. Up next, let's talk a little bit more of the science behind cannabis.